What if I revealed to you today one of the most important distinctions in the entire human experience? A distinction almost no one sees, yet it determines who you become, what you achieve, what you build, and what you lose. Most people live in their life operating in reaction mode, survival mode, automatic mode. But a small minority work on their life with clarity, intention, vision, and discipline. And this difference changes absolutely everything. Welcome to CELFA, the growth mindset. Here on this channel, we speak about motivation, personal development, and mind mastery. Today, we dive into something schools never taught you, something companies will never teach you, but something the world's greatest leaders apply every single day without exception. Most people move through life the way someone walks through a narrow hallway. Daily obligations push them, responsibilities push them, problems push them. They react, they adapt, they fix. They live like employees of their own existence, always busy, never aligned, always tired, rarely transformed. They operate in the immediate. They work in their life. They manage the present moment without ever touching the long-term plan. And over time, they end up confusing movement with evolution, activity with growth, exhaustion with progress. They think they are moving forward because they are constantly in motion. But motion has never guaranteed progress. Working in your life means living in permanent urgency. Running after time. Responding to 10 small demands per hour without ever asking whether these demands deserved your energy. Solving emergencies that were never emergencies. Being pulled around by emotions you don't fully understand. Managing tension, misunderstandings, frustration. Being consumed by microtasks that create the illusion of advancement but prevent true growth. It is like running in place. You move, you sweat, you burn energy, but you don't truly advance. And yet, many people believe this is what it means to succeed. They tell themselves, I am doing my best. But doing your best is not enough if your best effort is pointed in the wrong direction. You can do a lot without ever doing what truly matters. You can spend years responding, correcting, putting out fires without ever building a trajectory. We often confuse activity with direction, fatigue with contribution, mental overload with merit. But life doesn't reward movement. Life rewards clarity. Life rewards strategy. Life rewards inner discipline. Working on your life, on the other hand, means becoming the architect of your own evolution. Taking a step back, even briefly, to understand who you are becoming. Observing your mind, your emotions, your limits, your habits, and consciously deciding what you want to keep and what you want to transform. It is learning to know yourself with honesty. It is asking questions that 90% of people avoid, uncomfortable questions, but powerful ones. Where am I actually going? Why do I repeat the same patterns? What do I truly want to create? In which areas am I sabotaging myself? What am I tolerating that is blocking my growth? Working on your life means aligning your present with your future. Creating internal systems, habits, disciplines, methods, visions, clear choices. It means no longer merely executing your life, but designing it. It means shifting from a reactive existence to a conscious existence. Learning to direct your energy instead of letting anything drain it. Structuring your time rather than being enslaved by it. Building routines that lift you up, a morning ritual, a daily reflection moment, a weekly review, emotional discipline, a yearly plan, long-term vision. When you work on your life, you become your own environment. You no longer simply endure situations, you influence them. You stop repeating your past, you begin constructing your future. You stop living for emergencies, you start living for your mission. You stop running everywhere, you begin walking with purpose. You stop scattering your energy, you start guiding it in the right direction. And this alone explains why some evolve massively in a short time, while others repeat the same day for 10 years, 20 years, sometimes an entire lifetime. Those who advance the farthest have one thing in common: they work on themselves. They take time to clarify their vision, strengthen their mind, develop their skills, establish routines, and correct internal weaknesses. They do not let their day decide for them. They do not let their emotions decide for them. They do not let their environment decide for them. They use their intellect as a guide, not as a passive container. They use their time as a weapon, not as waste. They use their discipline as a lever, not as a punishment. The reason most people fail has nothing to do with intelligence, money, luck, or education. The real reason is simple. It is easier to live in your life than to work on your life. Easier to stay in the familiar than to step into transformation. Easier to stay busy than to stay aware. Easier to run than to think. Working on yourself requires courage. The courage to stop. The courage to change. The courage to face truth. The courage to say no to what distracts and yes to what builds. But this courage can be developed. And you don't need hours to begin. This work can start with 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes to think. 10 minutes to write. 10 minutes to plan. 10 minutes to visualize. 10 minutes to learn. These short strategic pauses change the direction of a life. When you work on yourself, you change how you think. When you change how you think, you change your decisions. When you change your decisions, you change your trajectory. And eventually, your trajectory changes your destiny. Working on your life means transforming your relationship with time. Most people live inside a schedule they never chose. They endure the clock. They endure obligations. They endure notifications. They endure pressure. But those who work on their life reclaim control. They plan before they execute. They think before they act. They prioritize what feeds their future over what comforts their present. They create blocks of time to learn, to grow, to create, to rest intentionally. They protect their focus. They protect their values. They protect their vision. Working on your life also means mastering your emotions. Emotional discipline is more powerful than motivation. An emotion is not a command, it is an indicator. Working on yourself means learning to breathe when your mind races. Learning to observe before you react. Learning to pause. Most people react. Leaders respond. Most people explode. Leaders understand. Most people look for a culprit. Leaders look for a solution. And none of this requires perfection. It requires intention. Honesty. A daily effort to rise, even if the rise is small. Growth is not a sprint. It is continuous movement. Movement that requires clarity, discipline, patience, and above all, a deep commitment to yourself. So ask yourself honestly, are you working in your life or on your life? In your life, you react. On your life, you create. In your life, you repair. On your life, you build. In your life, you endure. On your life, you choose. The choice is quiet, but its consequences are enormous. Today, you can choose differently. You can decide to stop living automatically. You can decide to stop reacting to everything that crosses your path. You can decide to become the strategist of your own existence. You can decide to transform yourself methodically, intentionally, deeply. You can decide to become that version of you, capable, disciplined, visionary, confident. And that decision begins now. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Here, on CELFA, the growth mindset, we do not settle for survival. We build. We grow. We rise. We move forward with clarity, courage, and discipline. We work on our life, day after day. And gradually, we become the person our dreams were waiting for. Thank you for watching. And remember, working in your life drains you. Working on your life transforms you.